Hello, this is Kirby Meister 2, and today I will be reviewing the latest fighting game that had just released recently, and that is Tekken 7. Tekken 7 is of a long-standing series created by Bandai Namco, and is the end of the long-lasting feud of the Mishimas. I am happy to review this game, as I've been a fan of Tekken since I've played Tekken 3 back in the day. While I did skip a few of the iterations until 6, I had some fond memories of this series. Now that this game has been finally released, what do I think about it? Let's find out. Yeah, nothing can hopefully go wrong with this. Kill me. So the beginning of Tekken 7 is told through the dialogue of a reporter that has been documenting the events since the start. And man, does this start slow for a fighting game.
I remember receiving my first letter from my son a few years back. Scribbled on it were the words, "I love you." I was so happy I cried. At the time, I believed that love was all anyone needed. For some years now, I've been investigating a certain father and son, and I managed to get a hold of the first letter the boy wrote to his father. It said, "Father, one day, I will tear you to pieces."
Anyways, the game flashbacks to the good old days as Hayachi throws his young cub down a mountain cliff. After that, the story takes place after when Jin defeated Azerv in the last game. The world wasn't saved, however, as Jin flung into chaos just to summon it. Only two sole survivors in this mad world are duking it out to the end. The Mishima Saibatsu, now led by Hayachi after Jin's disappearance, and G-Corp, led by Kazuya. Along the way, players are reacquainted by Lisa and Lars from the last game because they were such memorable characters. And lastly, Akuma is in here because, well, he wants to kill Hayachi and Kazuya by the request of Kazumi, Hayachi's deceased wife. While the main storyline focuses on the personal vendetta between some of the Mishima clans, since Jin is hugely inactive this time around, there are some other bits to fill in the gaps. Some of the side stuff fills in the whole of the main story, while some of it focuses on the King of Iron Fist turning that Hayachi announces in the earlier part of the story. And others are just a bit random, like Kuma and Josie Rizal fighting, and Panda and Paul Phoenix. If there's one thing to say, however, is that both the main and side stories leave something to be desired, while some of the side ones patch a few things here and there. With the main storyline, there are some holes. Like, how did the brawl come down between Armored King 2 and Craig Murdoch go as they were mentioning King's background? Not only would have these characters added a bit more to the roster, but it would have been a great way to add more to an otherwise lackluster story. And going back to the main storyline, I would have loved to see more with Akuma and how he was honor balanced by Kazumi and the events that led him to that. Now, before I talk some of the modes, it's time for me to explain the real fun of the game, the fighting mechanics. Ooh! For those that are getting into the series now, Tekken's gameplay uses each of the 4 buttons to correspond to a limb. Square for right punch, triangle for a left punch, X for a right kick, circle for a left kick. Blocking is done to have the stick to the opposite direction, while a counter for that is a grab, used by square and X or triangle and circle. There are a few new features to the system. One of them is pressing a certain button combination to activate an equipped armament on a character in any of the competitive modes that can only be used once. There's also a rage meter that happens when characters get to a certain threshold of life to counter back and win as a means of a quick comeback after a hard thrashing. So after getting through a decently made story and learning some of the ropes, players will want to venture into other parts of the game. First, there's the arcade mode, which is just beat 3 random enemies, beat Hayachi, and then beat Kazumi as the last boss. Second is the treasure battle mode, which is like the arcade mode, but allows players to collect unlocked loot that isn't truly unlocked, to be explained later. There's also the versus mode, which can be fun for those that have friends or people that would mildly be interested in playing this game.
I was not expecting one more match.
And lastly is the training mode, in which it goes into more detail of the moveset of each character than the basic light, right, punch combo. For those that are new to the series and this game, I highly recommend getting into this before what's to come. What's that, you might ask? Well, it's the friendly neighbor, the online mode. There are 3 sections to this mode: player match, ranked match, and tournament. Player match is just a simple versus match that is fun and there's no ranking involved. Ranked match is as follows, for those that are serious and know the exploitation of frame dynamics. Soon figure out that both of these modes have one thing in common, and that there is a rare chance for fights among players. Or that's what I experienced early in the game.
Okay. If he's gonna do that.
So the other way to play without being avoided by other players is unfortunately the tournament mode. This mode is where the elite players join and decide how picky they can be. Imagine trying to enter one of these awesome places and then being instantly rejected out the window because there's no fun on this mode, only rage and hate. Anyways, getting into one of these, not having it ledged for the 30th time during the long hour wait gives the reward of more money and loot, despite if ranked the lowest, because apparently everyone wins, I suppose. Besides the internet mode that can be ruined by elitist attitude, what else is there to explore? Well, there's the Jukebox. It can play all the series soundtracks, but allows each stage in this game to also have that soundtrack. Just select a stage, look throughout the various soundtracks, pick a tune, and there you go. There's also the gallery that plays all videos from the previous games, but also shows the arts from them, which kinda gives me a huge nostalgia boner. Alright. Okay, that's good and all, but what else is there? Well, there's the character customizer. Players can choose a character and then dress them up in outfits and masks. It makes the game fun not only in aesthetics, but also gameplay-wise, since some accessories can be used in battle. Earlier, I also mentioned that while these games can be unlocked, they aren't fully. For some odd reason, the developers coined in this currency system that can be gained just by doing fights in online and offline modes. Players can use this currency to buy these items. Other than that, I don't know why this feature was particularly added, except it was probably trying to prolong players from playing this game longer to get all this stuff. But that's kind of stupid. Players will still play this game long enough for months that it shouldn't warrant this kind of thing, but apparently that's not the case. Whether it's offline or online, players will still find the game fun to play on their own, so there should be no reason to have this system in the game. Now that I talked about the modes and gameplay out of the way, and before my rage starts to go any further, let's talk about the rest. The music and the graphic. If there's anything I can't complain, it's amazing how this game looks. The character models are very well done with their animations, and each background is just so goddamn damn beautiful to look at. All the new characters introduced in this game have unique designs to them that make them stand out. As a person that got to see some of these during the presentation at San Diego Comic-Con, I was a little bit hesitant with some of them. For those that were there, and for those that don't know, most of us can agree Lucky Chloe was the character with the most concern. But after seeing the character's dynamics in the game, I can't really complain anymore. However, out of all the new characters, I gotta love Gaiga's the most. What's there to love with the beautiful looking game, but also a kick-ass soundtrack to add with it? And by this time, I already lost most of you. Well, there's a reason for that. The soundtrack isn't that good. For a series that delves into an eclectic range of themes to pump up the fighters, this time the players are given a techno and dubstep soundtrack. Wait, what? It's just so bland and it doesn't blend in with anything in the game. Why? Why even have this? Well, I guess it's just to make it mainstream to the newer generation. But even this new generation would agree how basic and bare to the bones this soundtrack is. But it gets more hilarious as the vets have their own ways, since the Jukebox allows music from the past games to be used on the newer stages. Well, I reckon that there's a certain word for something like this. Identity crisis. Now I can see that some people would find this to be a way to celebrate Tekken's long history in the industry if the original music was good enough, but it's not. It's just not. Alright. Enough complaining, enough whining. So what do I have to say about this game overall? So overall, what I think about the game is that it's pretty fun. The game's not great, but it's not like average either. It's good to see some of the classic Tekken characters with newer ones that have a fresh new fighting styles. Music-wise, the original music, but it's nice to see Bandai Namco paying a tribute to the series by including all the soundtracks from the past game. There are a few things here and there, like the graphics, and the gameplay itself, and then all the, How can I say this? Like, it's hard for me to recommend this game because of everything this game does. You can see in my mood and tone how much I really wanted to recommend this, but it's just so I'm such in turmoil because I'm a fan of this series, but what this kind of game does, so in short, it's a good recommendation. I just wouldn't put it in my highly recommended, and I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. This game's just I'll see you guys in the next review. Until then, ciao.